Chosen one, listen closely, because what you're about to hear is not entertainment. This video exposes a hidden investigation that was sent against your life and your money, and reveals the exact moment God stepped in to warn you and stop the enemy's plan. If you're watching this on your TV right now, settle your spirit, because this message was sent specifically for a moment like this. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling watched, delayed, drained? Has your money been disappearing, opportunities closing, or blessings slipping through your fingers right when breakthrough is near? Have you felt a strange pressure around your finances, like something unseen has been blocking what belongs to you? If any of this sounds like your life, then this message is the explanation your spirit has been waiting for. In the next minutes, I'm going to reveal why the devil targeted your money, how a hidden investigator was caught, why God waited to warn you until now, and how heaven is breaking a secret money curse that has been following you for years. And if you stay into the end, you will receive a prophetic prayer that can shift your finances, your peace, and your direction. So don't move. What's coming may be the breakthrough your life has been waiting for. There are moments in life when heaven steps directly into your path. And today is one of those moments. You didn't arrive here by scrolling, wandering, or coincidence. Something in your spirit has been tightening, tugging, and trying to get your attention. And God decided it was time to answer the tension with revelation. Whether you're watching this on your TV or listening with your heart already heavy, this message is heaven's interruption. A divine stop placed right in front of you, because what you're about to hear is meant to shift your direction, protect your steps, and prepare you for what's coming next. For weeks, maybe months, you've been sensing that something was off in the invisible places around you. Delays that made no sense. Moments when your peace dropped suddenly. Financial movement that looked promising, then froze. People reacting strangely without explanation. Doors opening halfway, but never fully. Heaven saw your confusion, your murmured prayers, the weight you've been silently carrying. And God said, "Enough. They need clarity. They need truth. They need to see what's been happening behind the scenes." This video is that moment of divine clarity. Many people walk blind to spiritual patterns, but chosen ones feel everything, even before they understand it. The sensitivity you carry, the heaviness you felt, the moments where you paused and didn't know why, none of that was random. God has been giving you warnings and whispers because He refuses to let you walk into traps unaware. He refuses to let interference grow without exposing it. He refuses to let the enemy manipulate your finances, your decisions, or your peace without a prophetic alert sounding in your life. Everything leading up to this moment has been preparation. All the confusion, all the discomfort, all the strange emotional shifts have been signals pointing towards something bigger happening in the background. God is now pulling back the veil. He is revealing why the atmosphere around you has been so tense. He is showing you why your spirit has been unsettled, why heaviness has been building, why your discernment has been screaming for answers. This message is not simply information. It is spiritual correction, divine confirmation, and holy insight. So take a breath. Let your spirit settle into what heaven is about to reveal. You're not imagining things. You're not losing your mind. You're not overthinking the patterns you've noticed. You're here because God stopped you intentionally, purposefully, and lovingly. This is the moment your confusion begins to break, your awareness begins to rise, and your understanding finally aligns with what your spirit has been sensing all along. What you are about to understand may shake you. but it will also release you. Someone was sent to watch you, not in a physical, dramatic, movie-like way, but in a spiritual, intentional, and targeted way. A person stepped into your atmosphere with the quiet purpose of gathering information about your life, your progress, your emotional patterns, and especially your financial movements. They were not observing you out of love, worry, or admiration. They were observing you because they needed answers you never gave, clarity you never offered, and access you never permitted. Their interest crossed from curiosity into intrusion, and heaven took notice. This person began paying attention to details that were none of their concern. How you've been rebuilding, how you keep surviving setbacks, how you remain calm, how blessings still find you even after storms, and how you continue to rise when others expected you to collapse. They couldn't understand the resilience in your silence, the strength in your stillness, or the way doors seem to shift in your favor at the last possible second. Instead of examining their own heart, their own wounds, their own darkness, they chose to examine you. They chose to study what they could not comprehend. And in doing so, they stepped into a spiritual boundary they were never meant to cross. You likely felt this long before you understood it. That sudden discomfort, that feeling of being spiritually exposed, that strange sense that someone was looking into your life without speaking to you directly. Those moments when your spirit tightened for no reason, when your peace dropped out of nowhere, when your intuition whispered, something is off. The sensitivity you carry is not a weakness. It is spiritual intelligence. Heaven let you feel the disturbance because chosen ones are never left unprotected, even when they don't yet have clarity. This surveillance was not innocent. It wasn't simple concern or curiosity. It was driven by confusion, fear, and a desire for control. The person watching you wasn't trying to harm you physically, but their intention created a spiritual opening. When someone watches you with envy, insecurity, or suspicion, they unknowingly send energy into your atmosphere. And if they speak your name in frustration, doubt, or resentment, they open a doorway the enemy is too eager to walk through. The interference around your finances, the sudden pressure around your progress, the emotional weight you've been feeling, they all began when someone tried to understand you without approaching you in truth. But here's the good news. Heaven has already intervened. What they tried to observe, God has exposed. What they tried to understand, God has protected. Their monitoring ends today not because they stopped watching, but because heaven shut down the spiritual access they attempted to create. What they opened, God has closed. What they touched, God has reclaimed. And the clarity you are receiving right now is heaven's confirmation that the watching is over and the restoration has begun. You need to understand this with absolute clarity. The enemy did not go after your relationships first, your emotions first, or your peace first. He went directly after your money. And he did it because he knows what you often forget. Your finances are spiritual. Your ability to move forward, build, create, support yourself, break generational patterns, invest, grow, and walk into your calling is deeply connected to the flow of resources in your life. The enemy is not intimidated by your kindness or your personality. He is intimidated by your calling. And one of the fastest ways to interrupt the calling of a chosen one is to create financial pressure so heavy that it steals focus, drains energy, and clouds discernment. That's why the battle began where it did. The delays you've been facing weren't coincidental. The unexpected expenses weren't random. The opportunities that looked promising and then suddenly disappeared weren't mistakes. The enemy strategically attacked the areas that hold the most influence over your future. Every financial disruption you've encountered recently, every moment you felt like you were starting to rise financially only to be pushed back down, every season of barely getting ahead. These were not accidents. They were spiritual assignments released against you because someone's curiosity created an access point. When a person speaks your name with envy, fear, or suspicion, it generates spiritual interference the enemy tries to exploit. But what the devil didn't expect is this: you were built for pressure. Every time your finances tightened, your faith widened. Every time money slipped through your fingers, God restored something internally that cannot be stolen. The enemy thought financial strain would break you, but it trained you, it sharpened you, it matured your discernment. It made you pay attention to spiritual patterns you once ignored. The enemy's tactic to weaken you ended up strengthening you in ways he never anticipated. He targeted your money because he saw what heaven was preparing to release, and he panicked. There's a reason you've been feeling like your finances were under surveillance. The enemy wanted to see if you would fold under pressure, if you would question God's timing, if you would abandon your assignment, if you would stop praying, stop believing, stop moving forward. But instead, every attack revealed how deeply God has rooted you. You kept going when you had every reason to quit. You stayed faithful when you had every reason to panic. You maintained integrity when others would have compromised. That's why the interference is breaking now, because the attack failed. You passed a test you didn't even know you were taking. And now hear this clearly. Because the enemy targeted your money, God is about to restore your money. Not the small amounts, not the temporary opportunities, not the surface level blessings, but the major things, the delayed things, the long-awaited things, the financial breakthroughs that shift the direction of your entire life. Heaven is not just stopping the attack. Heaven is reversing it. The money that was blocked will flow. The opportunities that were delayed will open. The resources that felt held back will be released. What the enemy touched, God will multiply. Heaven does not send Archangel Michael unless something significant is happening in the unseen realm. His presence is a declaration that the situation had crossed into territory requiring divine authority. When the spiritual monitoring around your life intensified, when the interference began affecting your emotions, your clarity, and most importantly, your finances, Michael was dispatched to stand between you and what was attempting to infiltrate your destiny. There are battles you were never meant to fight, doors you were never meant to see, and assignments you were never meant to confront. And that's why heaven stepped in before the damage could spread any further. For hours, far longer than you realized, Michael stood guard around your atmosphere, examining every spiritual thread connected to your name. He traced the disturbance back to its source, identified the unauthorized access, and sealed the opening the enemy attempted to use against you. You may have felt a heaviness recently, or moments where your mind suddenly became clouded, or times when your peace dropped without explanation. That wasn't emotional instability. It was spiritual warfare happening around you while heaven intervened on your behalf. The battle was real, but the protection was stronger. Michael's assignment was not only defensive, it was also revelatory. He waited for the exact moment when your spirit was ready to receive this truth. That's why you had those sudden pauses, those moments of stillness you couldn't explain, that pressure on your chest that made you stop scrolling or sit in silence without knowing why. These were not coincidences, they were signals. They were spiritual taps on your shoulder, signs that heaven was preparing to speak directly to you. When God sends Michael, it's because the message is serious, strategic, and urgent. And understand this clearly. Heaven's intervention is never sloppy or accidental. When Michael steps into a situation, he doesn't negotiate with darkness. He removes it. He identifies the root, closes the access point, and pushes back every force that attempted to slip into your life. You may not have seen the battle, but you lived its aftermath, the sudden shift, the rising clarity, the quiet internal strength, the peace returning slowly but steadily. These were signs that the interference had been cut off, that God's protection had already gone before you. Now that heaven has intervened, the trajectory of your life changes. What was monitoring you can no longer see you. What was affecting your finances has been pushed back. What was creating confusion has been silenced. And what was meant to delay, you will now accelerate you. The presence of Michael is not just a sign of danger. It is a sign of deliverance, alignment, and breakthrough. You are stepping into a protected season, a covered season, a season where nothing touches your life without heaven's approval. The man who was sent to observe you went into this with cold intention. He expected to see flaws, inconsistencies, emotional chaos, anything that could be reported back as evidence. He thought he would find weakness, fragility, or signs that you were unstable. But instead, he encountered something he had no defense against: the quiet power of a chosen one, the stability in your silence, the purity in your intentions, the resilience in your spirit. Your life confronted him without a single word, and he felt something he had not felt in years: conviction. Not fear, not suspicion, but conviction that he was touching something sacred. As he watched you, he didn't find secrets. He found strength. He didn't see confusion. He saw clarity. He didn't observe brokenness. He saw someone who had been through fire and came out refined. This confused him deeply. He couldn't understand how someone who had been betrayed, delayed, overlooked, and financially attacked could still carry peace on their face. He couldn't understand how you kept standing without bitterness, kept moving without revenge, kept hoping without desperation. Your life began to speak louder than anything he was sent to study. The holiness around you made him aware of the emptiness within himself. He was trained to report facts, but what he encountered was presence. God's presence resting on your life in ways he could not rationalize. Every time he looked at you, something within him shifted. Guilt rose. Old wounds surfaced. Shame confronted him, and truth pierced through layers of darkness he had carried for years. The assignment he accepted so easily suddenly felt wrong, dangerous, spiritually heavy. His heart grew uneasy. His conscience awakened. The darkness he once walked in confidently now trembled in the light surrounding your life. Eventually, he couldn't continue, not because he feared being caught, but because your spirit confronted him more powerfully than any human could. He withdrew. He stepped back. He distanced himself from the assignment entirely. Instead of delivering the information he was paid to gather, he delivered a warning to the one who sent him, a warning that heaven was involved, a warning that you were not someone to be touched casually. He may not have understood everything, but he knew enough to stop. He left quietly, but heaven saw it loudly. And here is what you must understand. His turning point was your turning point. When he backed away, the spiritual access point closed. When he stepped out, the interference ended. His change of heart became the moment heaven accelerated your breakthrough. What was meant to expose you exposed them instead. What was meant to unravel you unraveled the assignment against you. God used your life as a mirror, one that didn't just protect you, but transformed him. And because of that transformation, the path is clear, the attack is broken, and the next season is already unfolding in your favor. There comes a point where God will no longer allow anything hidden to operate in your life unchecked, and you have reached that point. Heaven exposed the intentions behind the one who watched you, not to shame them, but to protect you. Their motives were never truly about you as a person. They were about what you represented. You carried answers they wanted, peace they lacked, resilience they couldn't imitate, and favor they couldn't access. What began as curiosity became spiritual interference, and God refused to let their internal struggle bleed into your destiny. So he brought their intentions into the light, revealing everything that was whispered behind your back and everything that was attempted in silence. God showed you the signs long before the truth reached your understanding. The sudden distance, the strange tension, the energy shift in the atmosphere, the unexpected obstacles rising right after moments of progress, the financial blocks that didn't match your level of effort, the emotional heaviness that felt foreign to you. These were indicators that someone's inner conflict had turned into a spiritual projection. Even if they didn't speak their intentions aloud, heaven heard the vibrations of their thoughts. Heaven saw their motives forming before their actions did, and heaven decided that enough was enough. The Lord revealed their heart, not so you would be angry, but so you would be aware. Awareness is protection. Awareness is empowerment. Awareness is alignment. If God allowed you to keep walking in the dark, you might have forgiven what wasn't repentance, trusted what wasn't truth, or welcomed what wasn't safe. God exposed the intentions behind the watching so you could walk with eyes open, spirit steady, and boundaries strengthened. He didn't want you blaming yourself, doubting your intuition, or shrinking your discernment to make others comfortable. He revealed the truth so you could stop second-guessing what your spirit already knew. What this person underestimated was that God defends his chosen ones even in silence. They thought their observation was private, but heaven was watching them while they watched you. They thought their intentions were hidden, but God sees motives before actions. They thought they were studying you, but God was studying them. And in exposing their heart to you, God made it clear that no weapon formed in secrecy can remain invisible forever. Darkness always reveals itself when confronted by divine light, and your life now stands covered by that light. This exposure is not punishment, it is positioning. God revealed their intentions so you could move forward without confusion, so you could protect your finances without guilt, so you could trust your discernment instead of dismissing it, so you could step into your next season without the weight of hidden energy pulling at your spirit. The truth was not revealed to break you. It was revealed to free you. And now that it has come to the surface, the interference ends, the fog lifts, and the path ahead becomes unmistakably clear. A hidden money curse is not always released through rituals or spoken incantations. Sometimes it begins with a single thought spoken in frustration, a jealous conversation whispered in secrecy, or a controlling intention directed toward your finances. That is exactly what happened in your situation. Someone's inner turmoil spilled into the spiritual realm, and their fixation on your progress opened a door they did not understand. The enemy used their confusion as an entry point to interfere with the flow of provision in your life. Suddenly, opportunities became delayed, money slipped away, and the momentum you once had began to feel spiritually resisted. But the moment heaven exposed the source, that hidden money curse began to break. God is a God of justice, and He does not allow interference with the chosen one's finances to continue unchallenged. When someone places their eyes on what God is building in you without divine permission, heaven immediately takes notice. The enemy attempted to attach scarcity, delay, and restriction to your financial path, not because you were vulnerable, but because you were transitioning into a season of increase. What looked like spiritual pressure was actually the enemy's attempt to derail what heaven had already scheduled for your future. But the curse could not hold, because you are not aligned with darkness. You are aligned with destiny. As soon as God exposed the intrusion, the spiritual chains tied to your finances began to loosen. That heaviness you've been feeling, the pressure around your money, the exhaustion around your progress, the fear that you would never catch up, was not a sign of failure. It was the weight of a spiritual assignment trying to attach itself to you. And now that the truth is revealed, that weight will begin lifting day by day, moment by moment, decision by decision. The curse was dependent on your ignorance. The moment you became aware of the attack, it lost its power. Understand this. Curses thrive in darkness, but they dissolve in revelation. The interference that tried to weave itself into your finances has now been confronted by divine authority. What was slowing your progress will now accelerate it. What was blocking your income will now release it. What was holding back opportunities will now make room for them. Heaven has drawn a line the enemy cannot cross, and everything connected to your provision is being untangled, restored, and realigned under God's oversight. The money that was held up is coming back. The doors that were closed will open. The flow that stopped will return stronger. A hidden money curse only works when the chosen one is unaware, but you are no longer unaware. God has broken the influence, shattered the access point, and reclaimed what the enemy tried to interfere with. From this moment forward, your finances fall under divine jurisdiction, not human jealousy, not spiritual projections, not hidden intentions. This breaking marks the beginning of a new financial chapter, one sealed by heaven's authority and protected by God's promise. Your path is clear, your spirit is steady, and your money is covered. One of the most difficult truths for a chosen one to accept is that God does not always reveal danger the moment it begins. He reveals it at the moment it matters. God waited to warn you, not because He wanted you confused, not because He wanted you struggling, but because the timing of your awareness is just as important as the message itself. If He had warned you too early, your emotions might have reacted instead of your discernment. If He had shown you too soon, you might have confronted the wrong person or misinterpreted the situation entirely. God waited until your spirit was mature enough, steady enough, and strong enough to receive the truth without breaking under it. There were things God was working on within you during the delay. He was building your sensitivity, sharpening your intuition, strengthening your spiritual backbone, and teaching you to trust your inner knowing even when you didn't yet have visible proof. He allowed you to feel the disturbance, but not understand it, so your discernment could develop without being influenced by fear or speculation. That discomfort you felt, the heaviness, the pauses, the strange spiritual pressure, was training. Heaven was stretching your awareness so that the warning, when it finally arrived, would not overwhelm you but empower you. God also waited because the situation needed to reach a point where exposure would have maximum effect. The heart of the one watching you needed to be revealed, not halfway, but completely. Their inner motives had to surface clearly so you could see them without confusion or false hope. Had God warned you earlier, you might have excused their behavior, softened their intentions, or blamed yourself for what your spirit sensed. But by waiting, God allowed the truth to solidify. He allowed their intentions to reveal themselves fully. And once your perception aligned with heaven's perspective, the warning became undeniable. There is another reason for the delay. What the enemy meant for harm needed time to fail. God let the plan run long enough to expose itself, but not long enough to damage you. The enemy always reveals his hand when he becomes desperate. And this interference with your finances showed exactly that. God allowed the enemy's attempt to mature to the point where heaven could strike decisively, shutting down the attack in a way that leaves no room for it to reopen. The delay wasn't punishment, it was precision. God doesn't operate on your emotional timeline. He operates on the spiritual one that guarantees your victory. Now you can finally see why God waited. The warning came at the exact moment your heart was ready for clarity. Your spirit was positioned for revelation, and your life was aligned for breakthrough. The delay protected you. It matured you. It exposed what needed to be exposed. And it prepared you for the acceleration that is now coming. God does not speak late. He speaks right on time. And this message is heaven's proof that the timing was perfect. Every delay you've encountered in this season has had a divine fingerprint on it. Even the ones that felt painful, confusing, or unfair. The timing of your life was never off track. Your spirit was being positioned. Heaven does not rush development, nor does it allow you to walk into a blessing that your environment isn't ready to support. What you experienced as delay was actually God slowing down the movement around you so the truth could surface, the interference could be exposed, and the spiritual threat could be neutralized. Divine timing is not about convenience. It is about protection, preparation, and alignment. God allowed certain opportunities to pause because accepting them in the wrong spiritual atmosphere would have cost you more later. He allowed key connections to remain silent because their intentions were not yet purified. He allowed progress to feel slow because your spirit needed time to mature before stepping into a larger season of responsibility. What felt like stagnation was actually calibration. You were being aligned internally so that when breakthrough arrived, you would not sabotage it with doubt, fear, or misplaced trust. The delay was heaven's way of reshaping your character around your calling. Divine timing also exposed what could not remain hidden. Had everything moved quickly for you, the person watching you would have remained concealed. Their motives would have stayed in the shadows. Their interference would have blended into life's noise. But the delay forced their intentions into the open. It revealed jealousy. It revealed spiritual intrusion. It revealed emotional confusion. God needed you to see who was around you before elevating you. Because promotion cannot be built on deception or hidden disturbance. What was delayed was meant to come to the surface. And it did. Another truth you must understand is that divine timing is deeply connected to spiritual cycles. God slows certain seasons to accelerate the next. He pauses your movement to prepare the path ahead. He holds you still so he can clear what stood against you. Your delay was not a denial, it was a reset. a chant for God to remove hidden obstacles, dissolve unseen opposition, and prepare blessings you are now spiritually capable of carrying. You were not stuck. You were being stage positioned for the exact moment everything needed to fall into place. Now, the timing shifts, the pause lifts. What once felt frozen will begin to move. What once resisted, you will begin to flow. What once looked blocked will begin to open. The delay was a divine filter, removing what was dangerous and revealing what was true. Your spirit has been refined, your discernment awakened, and your path protected. You are now standing at the edge of divine timing finally unlocking. And what unfolds next will make every delayed moment suddenly make sense. There are signs all around you long before the truth reached your understanding. But at the time, they felt random, confusing, or emotionally overwhelming. You noticed moments where your spirit tightened unexpectedly, where your energy dropped the second someone crossed your mind, where peace evaporated without any visible cause. These weren't mood swings or coincidences. They were spiritual alerts. Your discernment was picking up on interference long before your mind could interpret. Heaven was giving you signals in the language of the spirit, not the logic of the natural. You also experienced a subtle shift in your environment. Small frustrations began stacking. Relationships became tense for no reason, and financial movement felt strangely resisted. Opportunities that once flowed easily suddenly became complicated. Even your sleep may have been affected. Restlessness, vivid dreams, sudden awakenings at the same hour every night. These were not accidents. These were indicators that something was observing you. Something was monitoring your progress. Something was attempting to redirect your path. When the spiritual realm becomes crowded, the natural realm begins to feel tight. Another sign you missed was how people reacted to your presence. Some grew distant without explanation. Others grew overly curious. And a few began behaving unpredictably around you. Their spirits were responding to the unseen pressure around your life. What you thought was misunderstanding or emotional instability in others was actually a reflection of the spiritual tension surrounding you. Heaven was using people's reactions to warn you that your atmosphere was being touched by intentions that were not pure. And your intuition was trying to translate those reactions into wisdom. There were also changes in your finances that should have stood out to you. Money that usually came on time suddenly delayed. Unexpected bills appeared. Opportunities you were counting on slipped through your fingers. Even the flow of creativity, ideas, and productivity felt blocked at times. These financial disruptions were not random setbacks. They were spiritual symptoms. When someone watches you with the wrong motive, it disturbs the energetic flow around your provision. Heaven allowed those disruptions not to punish you, but to push you toward awareness. Looking back now, everything makes sense. The signs were consistent, precise, and purposeful. Heaven was speaking to you through pressure, intuition, relationships, finances, and atmosphere. You weren't blind. You were being prepared. The signs weren't meant to make you afraid. They were meant to make you alert. And now that you finally understand what those signs meant, you are stepping into a season where you will no longer ignore your intuition, no longer dismiss spiritual signals, and no longer second-guess the wisdom that God placed inside you. One of the most unsettling experiences for a chosen one is the sensation of being watched without any physical evidence. You felt it, an invisible pressure, a subtle heaviness in the air, a sense that eyes were on you even when you were alone. This wasn't paranoia. This wasn't anxiety. This was your spirit responding to a spiritual intrusion. The emotional weight you carried wasn't born in your mind. It was the vibration of someone thinking of you intensely, analyzing you, questioning you, or monitoring you from afar. Your spirit felt the pull before your mind could interpret. Chosen ones have a sensitivity that others cannot comprehend. You feel spiritual interference the way others feel temperature changes. You pick up shifts in the atmosphere before words are spoken. That tightness in your chest, that sudden moment of distraction, that heaviness that sat on you for no reason. These were spiritual signals. Someone's thoughts about you were not neutral. Their focus became a thread tied to your energy, pulling at your peace, draining your clarity, and disrupting your emotional balance. Your sensitivity made you aware of something your eyes could not see. The feeling of being watched lingered because the intrusion wasn't momentary. It was consistent. Someone returned to your energy repeatedly, wondering about you, talking about you, trying to interpret your silence, trying to understand your strength. Their fixation created a constant spiritual echo around your life. You felt it in your sleep. You felt it in your morning routines. You felt it when you were minding your own business, but suddenly became unsettled. The emotional weight grew because their attention grew. And the more they focused on you, the louder your spirit screamed that something was off. This pressure also affected your finances, your productivity, and your emotional state. When someone carries envy, confusion, or control in their intentions, their thoughts create spiritual resistance. That resistance becomes emotional heaviness. It becomes confusion. It becomes fatigue. It becomes moments where you couldn't think clearly or felt drained without explanation. You weren't losing yourself. You were responding accurately to what was happening spiritually. Heaven allowed you to feel it because chosen ones are trained through sensitivity, not ignorance. Now that the truth is revealed, the weight begins to lift. What you felt wasn't fear, it was discernment. It wasn't weakness, it was spiritual intelligence. The heaviness wasn't a sign that you were vulnerable, it was proof that your spirit is tuned, awakened, and functioning exactly as God designed it. The emotional weight you carried was real, but it is breaking now. And from this moment forward, the atmosphere that once pressed against you will begin to release you, making room for clarity, peace, and strength to return in full measure. There is a shift happening in your finances starting today, subtle at first, but unmistakable once it begins unfolding. What you thought was simply a difficult financial season was actually a spiritual disruption triggered by interference you didn't see coming. But the moment God exposed the source, the blockage began to break. You may not see sudden wealth appear overnight, but you will feel the atmosphere around your money change. The confusion will lift. The pressure will ease. The anxiety connected to your financial future will begin to dissolve. Heaven has declared movement in the very area where the enemy tried to stop you. This shift begins internally before it manifests externally. The clarity you are receiving right now is activating spiritual authority in you. Authority over the fear that once drained you. Authority over the doubt that once paralyzed you. Authority over the scarcity mindset the enemy tried to plant during your weakest moments. When God elevates a chosen one financially, He first strengthens their identity. He breaks cycles of insecurity and replaces them with wisdom. He removes emotional instability and replaces it with alignment. Your inner atmosphere determines your outer blessings, and heaven is aligning you internally for what you are about to carry. As the interference is removed, opportunities that were once blocked will begin to flow toward you again. Conversations will shift. People who ignored you will suddenly remember you. Delayed payments will be released. Ideas that felt stagnant will come alive. Unexpected favor will show up in small ways that eventually lead to significant breakthrough. The spiritual resistance around your finances was real, but it has been dismantled. What was stuck is now loosening. What was silent is now moving. What was invisible is now emerging. You are stepping into a season where you will see evidence of what God has already done in the unseen. Your relationship with money will also begin to change. The fear of not having enough will lose its grip. The shame of past financial mistakes will fall off. The exhaustion of pushing without progress will be replaced by grace. You will start to feel confident in decisions that previously overwhelmed you. You will see opportunities you once overlooked. You will make choices from clarity rather than survival. When the spiritual environment around your finances shifts, your mindset becomes sharper, your awareness heightens, and your discernment becomes a guide rather than a burden. Heaven is not just blessing you with money. It is blessing you with wisdom to manage what is coming. You are now entering a new financial chapter, one that is protected, intentional, and accelerated. The interference has been removed, the door has been reopened, and the path has been cleared. This shift doesn't depend on luck, it depends on alignment. And now that the truth has been revealed, your spirit is aligned, your atmosphere is aligned, and your finances are aligning with the divine order God intended all along. What begins today will grow, strengthen, and multiply in ways that will make you look back and realize that this message was not simply information. This was your turning point. Forgiveness is not a soft spiritual suggestion. It is a divine requirement for breakthrough. Many people misunderstand this, but unforgiveness is one of the strongest spiritual blocks to financial movement. When someone violated your peace, monitored your progress, or interfered with your atmosphere, your heart naturally tightened in self-protection. But that emotional tightening can unintentionally restrict spiritual flow, especially in the realm of money. God is not asking you to excuse what was done, nor is He asking you to reconnect with anyone who caused harm. He is asking you to release the emotional grip so heaven can open the financial gates that unforgiveness keeps closed. Forgiveness does not mean trust. It does not mean returning to old patterns. It does not mean pretending you weren't hurt. Forgiveness is the spiritual act of removing their influence from your financial future. As long as resentment remains, the enemy claims legal access to keep certain blessings delayed. As long as anger remains, your spirit stays entangled with the very energy that tried to stop you. But when you forgive, truly forgive, not with emotion, but with intention, that spiritual entanglement breaks. You are not freeing them. You are freeing yourself. You are not cleansing their conscience. You are cleansing your financial path. The person who watched you did so out of fear, confusion, and insecurity. Their actions were not born from strength, but from emptiness. And that emptiness tried to spill into your life. Forgiveness is your declaration that their emptiness will not shape your destiny. It is your spiritual proclamation that their confusion cannot follow you into your next season. You're choosing to move forward without carrying residue from someone else's inner battle. You are choosing purity over bitterness, clarity over chaos, and alignment over emotional exhaustion. That choice unlocks heaven's ability to restore what was disrupted. Financial increase requires spiritual openness. God blesses hands that are surrendered, not clenched. He blesses hearts that are aligned, not wounded. When you forgive, the spiritual tension that once weighed on your finances releases. Creativity begins to return. Motivation rises again. Unexpected opportunities start appearing. Your mind feels lighter. Your decisions become clearer. You begin to operate from purpose, not pain. Forgiveness shifts you from survival mode into receiving mode, because a heart that forgives becomes a vessel heaven can trust with abundance. Forgiveness is not an emotion. It is a weapon. It breaks curses. It disarms jealousy. It silences spiritual interference. It removes the enemy's grip on what belongs to you. And the moment you release the pain connected to this situation, God releases the blessings connected to your name. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve freedom. Your finances deserve movement, and your destiny deserves clarity. This choice is your key. This act is your unlocking. This is where the restoration truly begins. You are stepping out of a season marked by pressure, confusion, and spiritual interference, and entering a season defined by clarity, protection, and acceleration. This transition is not subtle. It is a spiritual shift so strong that you will feel it in your atmosphere, your emotions, your finances, and even your decision-making. The heaviness that once clung to you will begin to loosen. The fog that clouded your thinking will begin to lift. The exhaustion that made everything feel harder than it should has already started to break. What you're stepping into is not survival. It is alignment. And alignment is the birthplace of breakthrough. This transition season is intentional. God is not simply removing what was blocking you. He is repositioning you for what is coming next. You will notice your spirit becoming calmer, but sharper. Your mind becoming lighter, but more focused. Your discernment becoming quieter, but stronger. This is the kind of spiritual grounding God gives before increase. You are no longer operating from reaction. You are operating from awareness. You are no longer moving in confusion. You are moving with divine instruction. This internal shift is the foundation of the external blessings that are approaching. Relationships will begin to reveal themselves with clarity. People who belong in your next season will draw closer naturally, with peace, honesty, and alignment. Those who do not belong will distance themselves without conflict, noise, or emotional disruption. God is cleaning your relational atmosphere the same way He cleared your spiritual atmosphere, quietly but decisively. You will no longer tolerate inconsistency, manipulation, or draining connections. This transition season will refine your boundaries, sharpen your intuition, and prepare you to receive without fear of losing what God gives. Your finances will also shift as you step into this season. What once felt frozen will begin to move. Ideas you abandoned will come back with new strength. Opportunities that were silent will begin to speak again. Even the way money comes to you will feel different. Less forced, more natural, more aligned, more protected. You are transitioning from a season of spiritual resistance into a season of divine flow. The same God who exposed the interference is now orchestrating increase. Expect clarity in areas where confusion once lived. Expect open doors where you once felt blocked. Expect peace where heaviness once sat. Most importantly, This transition season is preparing you for elevation. The interference had to be exposed so it wouldn't follow you into your next level. The heaviness had to break so it wouldn't weigh down what God is entrusting to you. The truth had to come out so you could step forward without fear. You are not stepping into a random phase. You're stepping into a divinely engineered season of purpose, protection, and prosperity. You are crossing over, and heaven is guiding every step. In the next few days, you'll begin to see visible signs that the spiritual interference around your life has been broken. These signs may appear subtle at first: a message that arrives unexpectedly, a conversation that shifts your perspective, an opportunity that reappears after being delayed, or a moment of clarity that feels almost supernatural. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that heaven is realigning your steps. When God releases movement after a season of spiritual pressure, it begins quietly but with undeniable accuracy. Pay attention, because these early signs are confirmations that what was once held back is now being released. You will also notice a change in how people respond to you. Some who distance themselves will start returning with softened hearts. Others who once misunderstood you will begin treating you with unexpected respect or humility. These relational shifts are not about reconciliation. They are signs. They reveal the spiritual weight you carry, the protection resting on your life, and the clarity God has placed around your identity. People may not know why they feel differently, but they will sense something has shifted. This change in your relational atmosphere is proof that heaven has touched your name. Financially, movement will begin in layers. A small, unexpected amount may come first, not the full breakthrough, but a sign that the blockage has lifted. Then, a delayed payment may suddenly be released. A door you thought was closed might reopen. A new opportunity may appear without warning. Your creativity will return. Your motivation will rise. Your confidence will stabilize. These are the early waves of restoration. God often releases financial signs gradually so your spirit can recognize the pattern before the overflow arrives. What comes to you first is the signal. What comes after is the blessing. Spiritually, your discernment will grow sharper. The fog you've been feeling will clear, and thoughts that once spiraled will settle. You'll experience sudden moments of peace that feel almost unnatural after the heaviness you've endured. You may wake up with a sense of direction you didn't have before. You may find yourself making decisions with confidence that surprises you. These are not random improvements. They are spiritual recalibrations. Heaven is tuning your spirit to recognize favor, opportunities, and divine guidance with precision. You are entering a season where clarity becomes your new normal. Above all, the next few days will carry divine timing. The message you receive, the door that opens, the conversation you overhear, the opportunity that arrives. All of it will fit together like pieces of a puzzle. You will look back and realize that these moments weren't random. They were orchestrated. This is not just a week of change. It is a week of signs. A week where heaven confirms what your spirit has already heard. A week where God proves that the interference has ended, the curse is broken, and your path is opening. What's coming is not noise, it's alignment, and it starts unfolding now. There are moments in life when prayer becomes more than words. It becomes a weapon. This is one of those moments. The interference that tried to attach itself to your finances did not break through effort alone. It broke because heaven stepped in. But now, God invites you to participate in the sealing of your breakthrough. A prophetic money prayer is not about begging. It is about aligning your voice with what heaven has already decreed. When you speak with authority, you close the door the enemy once used and open the door God has prepared. This is where your voice becomes a key. When you pray over your finances, you are not speaking into the air. You are speaking into the spiritual system that governs your provision. Your words create structure. Your declarations form boundaries. Your agreement activates what God has already released. This is why the enemy tried to silence you with discouragement, fear, and exhaustion. He knows that a chosen one who prays with clarity is unstoppable. He knows that when you declare restoration, angels move. When you declare alignment, confusion breaks. When you declare covering, doors open. Prayer is not passive, it is strategic. This prophetic prayer must be spoken slowly, intentionally, and with awareness of the authority God placed on your life. Speak life into the places where lack tried to settle. Speak abundance into the areas where fear tried to hide. Speak clarity into the decisions you are about to make. Speak protection over the money that is coming to you. Your words will dismantle every leftover residue of spiritual interference. And when you pray, don't pray as someone hoping for change. Pray as someone enforcing heaven's verdict. Your financial restoration is not a request. It is a decree. As you pray, expect to feel things shift internally. A heaviness may lift off your chest. A pressure you didn't realize you were carrying may dissolve. Your mind may become clearer. Your spirit may feel lighter. This is what happens when your prayer disconnects your finances from spiritual intrusion. Every spiritual assignment against your money loses its access the moment you declare truth over your life. This prayer is the seal on the breakthrough God has already begun. This is a moment where what was exposed becomes what is defeated. And once you speak this prayer, you will notice the atmosphere around your finances change quickly. Small confirmations will appear. Strength will rise in you. Fear around money will break. Unexpected ideas, solutions, and opportunities will surface. This is the power of prophetic prayer. It activates, it restores, it protects, and it accelerates. You are not praying for survival. You are praying from authority. What you declare will stand, because heaven has already endorsed it. You are not speaking into uncertainty. You are sealing your breakthrough. Now that the interference has been broken and revelation has been released, the way you walk forward matters. Financial alignment is not only about what God does for you, it's also about how you move in response. You cannot carry old habits into a new season and expect new results. This next phase requires intentionality. It requires maturity. It requires spiritual awareness. You are not stepping into random increase. You are stepping into protected increase. And protected increase demands that you walk with wisdom, not fear. Clarity, not confusion. Purpose, not impulse. Your next decisions will create the structure for the blessings about to arrive. Walking in financial alignment begins with your mindset. The enemy worked hard to convince you that you were behind, incapable, forgotten, or not worthy of financial blessing. But now that the interference is broken, those lies cannot travel with you. You must renew the way you think about money, seeing it not as a burden, but as a tool, not as a source of stress, but as a resource God trusts you with. When heaven releases increase, It looks for stability. It looks for stewardship. It looks for clarity. God is preparing you to manage what is coming, not fear it. Let your thoughts align with abundance, not survival. Your habits must also shift. This is the season to eliminate unnecessary expenses, close emotional spending loops, and become intentional about where your money goes. Not out of fear, but out of alignment. You are building spiritual order around your finances, and order attracts blessing. As you clean your financial environment, heaven responds by opening doors that once remained sealed. Opportunities show up for those who prepare for them. Ideas flourish where discipline exists. Resources flow where structure is respected. Your habits are no longer random. They are prophetic preparation. Relationships play a major role in your financial alignment as well. There are people who drain your energy, your time, and your clarity. Disconnect from them gracefully. There are people who provoke doubt or insecurity around your progress. Distance yourself wisely. And there are people who carry wisdom, peace, and maturity. Draw near to them intentionally. God will often send financial increase through connections, partnerships, or conversations. But He never blesses environments contaminated with manipulation or confusion. Your circle must match the direction God is sending you, or you risk leaking blessings that were meant to be kept. Finally, walk with expectancy, not desperation. Expect favor. Expect clarity. Expect opportunities. Expect divine timing to carry you. Do not shrink yourself. Do not hide your gifts. Do not downplay your calling. You are stepping into a season where your financial life, spiritual authority, and personal identity are aligning at once. Move with confidence, knowing heaven is backing your steps. The interference has been removed. The curse has been broken. The path has been prepared. Now you must walk it with boldness, wisdom, and faith. Your alignment is your acceleration. You have reached the end of this message, but not the end of what heaven is doing in your life. This entire revelation was not merely information. It was activation. Your spirit has shifted. Your atmosphere has shifted. The interference has been exposed. Your discernment has been sharpened. And your finances have been released from the pressure that once held them hostage. What was destined to break you has now built you. What was meant to confuse you has now clarified your path. Heaven didn't just reveal the truth. It repositioned you for the next phase of your destiny. As you stand in this moment, understand that God is not finished speaking. This message was a door, not a destination. You are stepping into a season where divine instruction will come with greater precision, where signs will appear with greater frequency, and where your spirit will recognize patterns you once ignored. Your awareness has been elevated, and now heaven can entrust you with deeper insight. What you've learned here is preparing you for a revelation that builds upon this one. A continuation of clarity, protection, and alignment. Your journey forward requires courage. It requires discipline. It requires sensitivity to the voice of God and obedience to the prompts He places in your heart. But you will not walk it alone. The same God who exposed the interference is the God who will guide your next step. The same God who broke the curse is the God who will open new doors. The same God who protected your finances is the God who will elevate them. Every step you take from this point on carries divine backing. You are moving with heaven's endorsement, not people's opinions. As you prepare for what comes next, guard your peace fiercely. Protect your atmosphere. Make room for the new blessings approaching you. This is not the time to return to old patterns, old connections, or old mindsets. You have crossed a spiritual threshold, and heaven expects you to walk like someone who knows they are chosen, someone who knows they are protected, someone who knows they are rising. Your next season is not random, it is written. And you're finally aligned with what God wrote. Before you go, stay connected to what heaven is unfolding. The next message waiting for you carries the continuation of this revelation. It holds the insight you will need for the next step of your journey. When you're ready, step into the next video. Your spirit will recognize immediately that it was meant for you.